Small tip for emulator players. When I was newer to NES Tetris, I spent a fair amount of time playing on Emulator on my laptop. When I was initially configuring my keyboard bindings, I made sure to avoid a setup where the D-pad inputs were mapped to the arrow keys. This is because on a NES controller, with a conventional grip, the D-pad will be on the left side of the controller. Having already used a NES controller before, this was pretty intuitive to me. I used WASD for my D-pad and the bracket keys for my rotation buttons. What I didn't realize about my rotation mapping was that I had done it backwards. I had set A left and B right, thinking that it would obviously go A-B like the alphabet. That's mistaken. If you look at the face of a NES controller, it actually says B-A. You should make sure you map your B button on the left and your A button on the right to match a real controller. B rotates counterclockwise and A rotates clockwise, so it's apt to have them correspond to the left and right as intended. Otherwise, like me, you'll be really confused when you play on console and you have to unlearn flipped rotations. Bonus tip. Screens have changed a lot in the last few decades. What used to be stout, appliance-like monitors are now thin LCD panels. Critically, the aspect ratio of screens is different. For those unfamiliar with the term, aspect ratio is a way of expressing the differing shapes between monitors represented by width and height measurements. The formerly ubiquitous 4:3 fell to the wayside in the digital age, with 16:9 and wider aspect ratios being common now. If you are playing emulated Tetris on a modern PC and put the game in full screen, it might stretch all the way to the edges. It shouldn't look like that. You can tell because the square blocks are stubby rectangles, and all the text is stretched wide instead of monospace. The game is supposed to be on a narrower screen. Your emulator should have some kind of aspect ratio setting. Depending on which emulator you're using, it'll be in a different place, so I can't tell you exactly where to find it, but look for settings like 4:3 aspect ratio, lock TV aspect ratio, NTSC aspect ratio, etc. If the game gets black bars on the left and right, narrowing the window and making the Minos look square, congratulations, your emulator is configured right now.